Tabitha had to put him out because of the weeping, the wailing, and the shedding of tears. After all, Peter was about to pray, and Peter was about to do something on the behalf of Tabitha. And I want you to bear in mind that Tabitha was a disciple, and other disciples were there as well. But these disciples had not tarried with Jesus as he had lived before his ascension. These disciples were not the original disciples, for the original disciples at the departure of Jesus, when he mounted Mount Olivet and went back to the right hand of glory, they transferred from being merely disciples to being apostles. Apostles were the original disciples that walked with Jesus and were taught by Jesus. But the disciples that were not with Jesus originally did not have a gift at that time, but the apostles had. Jesus had conditioned the apostles to fast and pray in order to heal and deliver others from their infirmities. So these disciples, although they were believers in the power of God, they did not have the power of healing and deliverance. That's the reason why they sent for Peter, Apostle Peter, to come quickly. But when Peter got there, Tabitha was already dead. And Peter put the mourners out, and then he